Hey everybody, welcome back to my gym. Today I have a very unique review for you. It's a piece of equipment. It doesn't take plates. It doesn't really look like a traditional piece of equipment that I would have in my gym, but it's here for you right now. This is the Strexbox Travel Flywheel Trainer. So I know what you're thinking right off the bat. There's no way that that piece of equipment can be something useful for someone in a strongman gym. And before I had it, I kind of thought some of the same things. I'd seen other reviews from other people's flywheel trainers, and I just kind of thought there's no way that could really provoke that much stress to actually cause the kind of results that we want in strongman powerlifting. After using it, and I've been using it for about 2 to 3 months, somewhere in that ballpark, I can tell you right off the bat that it's a piece of equipment that not only do I appreciate, but it's one of those pieces of equipment that I'm really looking forward to keeping in my gym. So let's talk first about what it actually is. This is a flywheel. It's an eccentric load trainer. The way it works is you have this strap that goes through a hole, and on the other side of this hole, there is a spindle with the capability to load different levels of resistance. In order for the strap to get to that spindle, it has to be redirected forward so that it gets a straight line of pull. You know what, actually, I'm gonna show you guys a close-up of how it works first, then I'm gonna show you with a plate, close-up how it works. So the operation of the thing is actually pretty easy. As the belt, when the belt is pulled completely taut, you can see that the straight line of pull is kept straight by this bar right inside here that redirects from a upward pull to a lateral pull. As it pulls you back down, this spindle, which normally has a plate loaded on it, will spin, causing the strap to kind of wind up. And I'm trying to keep my hand out of the way here the best I can. Then what'll happen is you will reach the bottom of whatever range of motion you're currently working at. When you reach the bottom of the range of motion, you start to pull up. So now, as the strap comes out, this is you pulling. This is part of the beauty of the flywheel trainer, is that the speed of this pull is going to determine how hard it pulls you back down. As it's built up that centrifugal force, it reaches its max turn, and because the centrifugal force requires force to stop it, it's going to continue to wind you back down to the bottom of your range of motion. This is their smaller plate. The way you load it is you just pull this pin off, load the weight on, insert the pin into the appropriate hole. We'll touch on that in just a minute. So as this spins, it is going to pull that strap in and wind it up, and you can see it coming in now. Once you reach the bottom of your movement, you will basically be stopping the flywheel, and you'll be overcoming the amount of force it takes to make it stop turning. When that happens, you start to pull out. Now when it reaches the bottom, which you see there because it broke, it will normally, if there's a heavy enough load and you pull fast enough, start to wind it up going the other direction. So I touched on the hole and I just want to talk about it now. So basically you have this pin and there's 3 holes. You can see them there, 1, 2, and 3. This box has the capability of having 3 of the Strexbox plates loaded onto it. If you only have 1 plate loaded, the pin goes into the first hole. If you have 2, it goes into the second hole, and if you have 3, it goes into the third hole. So when you get your packaging from Strexbox, it comes incredibly well packaged. I've not seen better packaging in fitness equipment ever. Probably the best packaged thing, and it comes all the way from Austria, or at least my boxes came all the way from Austria where they were produced. It comes with an instruction booklet that tells you exactly how to inspect this unit, how to set it up, and it also comes with 2 of these carabiners, and you also get this bar. This is actually pretty well made as far as cable attachments come down. It's just a straight bar. It is knurled. The knurl feels good. It has 2 rubber end caps, 1 on each side. Never actually seen if they unscrew, and they do. They are actually threaded on the end, so if you wanted to remove them, you could. I don't know why you want to remove them, but the bar itself is nice for doing a couple different movements. So I've noticed for curls it's good, for tricep extensions it's good. It's also really nice for doing deadlifts. You also get 2 different sizes of extension. So this is their long extension, and I didn't think I would actually need these, but the longer I used them and the more exercises that I try to do on the flywheel trainer, basically anything standing, so like your tricep extensions, those kind of things, you'll need this long one. And then you also have the shorter one here, which I imagine is probably used more for people that are just taller. I'm about 5 foot 10 inches tall, so I never found myself using the short one, but I definitely did crack into that long one. You also get a little double-sided Velcro thing. The whole idea with this is that you can adjust this tail off of the connector piece. You can like wrap it up with the Velcro and keep it out of your way. At first I used it maybe for 2 or 3 sessions, but then what I found is that basically I didn't have the patience to really set this up every single time, because then you had to like take it off, put it back on. First world problems, but I ended up just not using it, and I have yet to have this get in my way. I have had plenty of slack on this, and I have had it feed back through the hole, but this Velcro thing, in my opinion, I've just never used it, or at least not consistently, and I have yet to have a problem. You also get this, this harness, and I'll be honest, I hated this harness for the longest time. I found myself just using my Rogue belt squat, my Rogue multi-belt, in order to actually use the Strexbox. But then I kind of forced myself because I felt like, oh, if I'm gonna do the review, I have to get used to using this. And basically what I figured out is I was doing it wrong. Imagine that. So this harness is a little bit strange, and just right off the bat, I'll tell you right now, you don't get in it like it's a backpack. You get in it from the back. And if you get in it from the back, it goes right on with no drama, no problems at all. But you can put it on by yourself, it's no problem. And then the actual harness has these 2 rings here, which serve to attach you to the Strexbox. I wouldn't go pulling a truck with it. I don't think it's that heavy duty, but I do think that it is built perfectly for this piece of equipment. So if you're just gonna be using it with the flywheel trainer, I would use this. If you're looking to potentially use this to also do like belt squats, heavy belt squats, I would highly not recommend that. I don't think that's gonna go well for you. So then of course, we have 2 things left. We have plates and we have the Strexbox itself. So let's look at the plates real quick. Now the folks over at Strexbox were nice enough to send me 3 total plates. I have 2 of these larger diameter plates, and I have 1 of these smaller diameter plates. So the box model that I have here, this is the Strexbox Travel. This box is about 23.5 inches from side to side, 15 inches from top to bottom, and it's about 4 inches wide. So about 4 inches deep rather. Tall, that's the word, about 4 inches tall. It's this size for a reason. The Strexbox Travel is actually designed to fit into like a Pelican case or into a suitcase and be able to travel with you on the road so that you can bring your gym with you as you travel. Size isn't the only thing that makes it good for traveling as well, but it's also the weight. So if you include the harness, the attachment point, and 1 of the XL flywheels, the whole package only weighs 32 pounds, which if you put it into a suitcase, it really doesn't weigh that much. Obviously, that's 32 pounds that you probably weren't planning on bringing on your trip, but it also brings a gym with you. And there's a lot of convenience to that because, I mean, sure, you can do some calisthenics-based stuff or go down to the gym and throw around the 20-pound weights. Yet that's even if your hotel has a gym and if it has a gym that's open. But if you know that you need to train and you are used to using this piece of equipment, this might be a really cool option for those that are on the road a lot. If you go on the road a lot and you know that you don't get to go to a gym to train, or that's just an extra stressor that you don't need in your life, maybe you don't want to take the time to have to get back to your hotel, jump into a car, go somewhere and travel, you can just bring the gym with you, and the Strexbox, I can tell you, is a really good answer to that, especially at the weight of only 32 pounds. But what I want to do now is I want to throw this box together real quick And I just want to show you some different movements that you can do. This is one of my critiques on it, is that loading it is kind of a pain in the butt. I found that the best way is to look through the hole and find the pin as you go to load it. So this is the view I'm going to give you guys. I'm giving you the sideways view so you can see how my body is moving in relation to the box itself, as well as see how the plates themselves actually operate. Now real quick, I just wanted to show you the up and down motion, and again, go through how it actually functions. So what I'll do is I'll wind this up. I usually just use my foot or my hand to wind it up. Start in the bottom of the hole. Now I'm just going to pull up. And you'll see that as you pull, you reach the top, and it automatically starts to wind it back down. Now the harder you pull, the harder it's going to pull back. And that's that eccentric training. There's a lot of studies that have come out that point to how much benefit that there is to eccentric training. And I can tell you that in my personal opinion, I have found that I think there's a lot of benefit to it. I'll show you the deadlift first. So throw the carabiner on. Again, I don't really personally see any point to the locking carabiner. And what you're gonna do is just move to the top of the range of motion and just kind of arrest the plates at the top. And then you pull on the strap to get to what will be the top of your range of motion. Now you'll see if you over pull, it's like over pull your slack, it's really not that big of a deal. You just push this button and pull up. And it doesn't have to be exact either. It can be a little bit off, either low or high. So now just bend over, and you don't have to wind it up all the way either. And you give her a pull. You could also do like stiff leg deadlifts if you wanted, but you can also do curls with it. So to do a bicep curl, basically go up to the top of your range of motion, wind up your box, and perform a curl. With curls, and you want to switch over to tricep extensions, you simply grab the long extension. I don't know why I took that carabiner off. Grab the long extension. So I just got pinched by this carabiner. And again, I'm just not a big fan of this carabiner. I just got pinched on the bottom hinge. Not a big fan of these carabiners. I would say Strexbox, you probably don't need these carabiners. They're not good for your business. Just my opinion. So put the large extension on. And again, with a tricep extension, it's going to be over your head. So the range of motion adjustment on this is a little bit, and again, oftentimes what will happen right now is like it was already spinning, and you can just kind of use that. So real quick, I wanted to show you guys the actual harness, and then I wanted to show you guys the difference between the harness and the belt squat from Rogue, the multi-belt. It's best to get in from the back, take the strap, goes around you, through the little hole, and you want this strap to be not super tight, but relatively tight. Now this is one of the points that I should point out to you guys. This is one of the things I should point out to you. The way this works is it's a threaded swivel on top of this strap cleat. As you use this a lot in workouts, this thing will just kind of start to, it doesn't spin during movement. It spins as you adjust and do different exercises. And I've only had it happen once, but where the cleat will just separate from the actual swivel. It's threaded, so it's really not that big of a deal. And like I said, I've never had it happen during a movement, but that is something that I feel like they can improve upon just a little bit. Maybe get a different type of swivel. When you do squats with this, one thing I learned the hard way, make sure the gate goes out, not in. Even if you have it locked, you could still pinch yourself a little bit. And pinching yourself with that gate on your little tummy is not ideal. Wind it up. And now you can do narrow squats. You can do wide squats. You could even do like lunges. A lot of these movements have taken a lot of time to kind of figure out how to do them. So with lunges, the biggest thing with lunges is I find that as I pull up on the box, I like pull like that, the whole box up. The best way to get around this is to just make sure that your foot is as centered as it could possibly be. But it is possible. It's using the harness from the company. So let's take this harness off real quick and do what I prefer to do, which is to use the Rogue multi-belt. The reason I like to use the Rogue multi-belt with this piece of equipment is for two reasons. One, I find it simpler to adjust the height on my multi-belt versus on this. Just because it requires me to move the carabiner down just a hole. I also just think it's more comfortable and that it provides a better pull, I guess. So again, adjust your height for your range of motion. And again, we are doing belt squats. Need a little bit higher. Reach down, wind it up, and you can see this is one of those movements where there's a whole lot of tail here. Some of the other things you can do as well, so if you like to incorporate grip training into your training in your home gym, so we'll grab a 3-inch pinch block. You can throw a pinch block on this and really go for like a grip ride, because I'm telling you right now that even moving this slow is really taking it out of me. I do find that for pieces of equipment like the Rolling Thunder, that this isn't really effective for getting a large load. However, for like a pinch block or something along those lines, it works fantastic. You could even go as far as to take like a Steadfast lifting product and take like 2 cannonball grips if you really wanted. And you can do training this way. So you can do like upright rows. Deadlifts 2 upright rows. But you get the idea. The only thing that I was unsuccessful with was any sort of like chest variation. I just couldn't get myself into a position where I could put a bench on this or some sort of weight and actually get like up and down motion with resistance on my chest. So I wanted to talk real quick, now that I've shown you kind of what it is, how it functions, different movements you can do in the gym. And by the way, that is not all inclusive. If you go to the Strexbox Instagram page or you go to their website, they have an entire movement library at your disposal. So let's dive into the criticisms. I already talked about the swivel. I really wish they'd do a better swivel. And then they also send you these like little adhesive rubber feet. And I can tell you right now that the foam on those, I've about worn through those just using it here in the gym. I'm not moving it around all that much. I do move it out to set it up every day, but once it's down, I really don't move it around all that much. So it's really well made, not that much that I can really say that you need to improve upon. It's of a good size, it's of a very good quality. Everything on it seems like it's really well made. I really like this rubber mat that's up here. And a lot of this stuff is replaceable. So this is replaceable, the rubber mat is replaceable. You can buy any one of these parts from Strexbox USA and they can ship it to you no problem, and you can replace it all yourself. Everything uses Allen bolts as well, which is a plus. With Allen bolts, there's a little bit less chance of stripping things out. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying there's less chance of stripping things out and having things go, you know, land in Pandemonium City. So with all that being said, there's only one thing left to talk about, and that is price. This set is $1,500. And that kills me to say because, God, that is just expensive. Like, you can buy a belt squat for $1,500. You can buy almost an entire new plate set, a nice plate set for $1,500. You can buy a really nice barbell. You can do a lot of things. But what this gives you is the ability to travel on the road. Now, you don't need to spend the $1,500 on this model. They do have a Strexbox Home. It is designed to only be used with lighter loads. So if you're someone that trains at home and maybe the big gym like I've got here isn't really your cup of tea, this could be an answer, and a more affordable option could definitely be the home model. Now, for $1,500, I will say that my customer service experience was amazing. Everything that they sent me is well made, it's well put together, it's solid. I do enjoy using it, and I will be using this when I go on the road for different jobs that I will end up doing. I do plan on bringing this with me to use it. I think there's a lot of functionality. I think there's a lot of use, and it's not just one of those general strength and conditioning things. I really believe that the eccentric training is going to be something that benefits me as a competitive strongman. But that's been my review. I appreciate you guys watching. What do you guys think? You think that there's anything to flywheel training? Do you think it has a place in a barbell gym like this? Do you think $1,500 is just way too much to spend on a piece of equipment like this? Let me know in the comments down below. I enjoy it, I like it, but that's just my opinion. Would I spend $1,500 on it again? I don't know. I think I might go for maybe one of the smaller models, just me speaking there. I appreciate each and every single one of you that watch my videos every week. Remember, when it comes to garage gyms, you should always make them better, awesome, and badass. Never forget that. And until I see you guys next week, remember to go out there and get after it.